Welcome to our basic calculations tutorial for iTableAmount, your Canadian child support calculator. In this tutorial, we will show you how to do a calculation in the basic mode for a sole custody situation and another in the advanced mode for a shared or split custody situation. As soon as I start iTableAmount, you will see this screen appear. This screen gives you the option to open an existing file or to create a new file. In the top left-hand corner, you will see the option to view your files stored in iCloud or on your Mac. iTableAmount fully supports iCloud, so you can access these files at home, at the office, or on the go. These files will also be compatible with the iOS version of iTableAmount, which will be available shortly. As we can see, we do not have any existing files, but that's okay as we are going to create a new file. This file is to be a calculation in the basic mode for a situation where one parent has sole custody of the children, so all we will need is the information for the parent who is paying child support to the custodial parent. To create this file, we can go to New under the File menu or by clicking on New Document in the bottom left-hand corner of our screen, which I am going to do. When we do this, we are immediately presented with a new calculation in the basic mode, as this is the default preference for iTableAmount. There are also default preferences of Ontario for the province, $35,000 for the payer's annual guideline income, and 2 for the number of children. We have another tutorial which shows you how you can change any or all of these preferences. In this situation, the default preference of the basic mode is okay, but the other defaults do not fit our fictional person's information. Our fictional person resides in British Columbia, so we change the province like this. Their annual guideline income is $60,000, which we enter on our keyboard. It is important to hit the Tab or Return keys at this point, otherwise iTableAmount will not recognize the change. And finally, we need to change the number of children to 3, which we do like this. The calculation is done immediately, and based on this information, the monthly table amount payable to the custodial parent is $1,193. And that's all there is to doing a calculation in the basic mode. We can now save this file by closing the window or selecting Save in the File menu. I am going to close the window. I will call this file number 1, and we are saving it in iCloud. So all we need to do at this point is to hit the Save button. If we now go to Open under the File menu, we can see the file we saved to iCloud, so there is easy access to it from anywhere. We will now do a calculation where the custody of the children is shared or split. In a situation like this, we need to input information for both parents as well as the children and which parent each child resides with, or if they share custody. To create this file, we again select New Document in the bottom left-hand corner of our screen and are again presented with a screen based on the default preferences. For this kind of calculation, we need to switch to the advanced mode, so we select that button in the top bar of our window. We now enter the information for parent number 1, whose name is John Doe. John resides in Alberta, and his annual guideline income is $50,000. We now enter the information for parent number 2, and her name is, yes, you guessed it, Jane Doe. Jane also resides in Alberta, and her annual guideline income is $70,000. And again, we need to hit the tab or return keys to make sure this information is changed. We now need to enter the information for the children. So for child number 1, we double click in the name column where it says enter name. The first child's name is Jack Doe. Now Jack resides solely with his mother, so we need to change the resides with in the shared column to Jane Doe. Now we can enter the information for child number 2, so we double click, and her name is Judy Doe. And Judy resides solely with her father, so we need to change the shared in the resides with column to John Doe. We will now add a third child, and this is little Jimmy Doe. Now Jane and John share custody of little Jimmy, so we can leave his resides with as shared. Looking on the right-hand side of our screen, we have the calculations area. In this situation, based on the child support tables, the monthly net table amount payable by Jane Doe to John Doe is $294. For information on how these calculations are done, please see our tutorial on how child support is calculated. Despite shared and split custody situations being much more complicated than sole custody instances, you see that it took very little information and time to get an accurate calculation. We can now save the document, again by clicking Closed. This time we will call the document Doe v. Doe, and instead of saving it to the iCloud, we will save it to our desktop on our Mac. And once we hit the Save button, you will see the document appear on our desktop. Thank you for viewing our basic calculations tutorial. Please tune in to our other tutorials for more detailed information on the functions and features of iTableAmount, including how you can share the files with a friend, a family member, or a client. Thank you.